awesome. We got a pretty exciting talk for you guys tonight. We have a guy who's pretty well known, but I'm excited because he's wanting to come back to the island and do some exciting stuff here on the island. And that, if you know me, you know that excites me just to hear about that. Family, help me welcome Armando Pantoja. Sorry, I knew I was gonna mess it up.
Nah, you got it, man. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for having me. It feels great to be back on the island. I lived here a few years ago, and I'm happy to be back. Like I said, I do want to do some things here, and we've been talking about it too. So like I said, again, thank you guys for having me. Thank you for the turnout, and I appreciate you guys coming.
Awesome. So, we got some great things tonight. What brings you to the island? What brings you here to Puerto Rico right now? What's besides Crypto Mondays?
So, my family, my father is from Puerto Rico, right? So I'll tell you, I'll just talk about my connection with Puerto Rico first.
Definitely.
Right? So I grew up in Tennessee, right? So, kind of country, and, away from the cities, country. So I grew up, in like I guess a rural high school, right? So my name is Armando Pantoja, right? So in a rural school, of course, that's gonna cause a lot of jokes. People not knowing how to pronounce my name, know how to say it, and things like that, right? So about go ahead.
Sorry, there's music over there. Can you just move up a little so we can hear you?
Oh, okay.
No, we can't do that actually because of the cameras.
Okay.
Let me see if I could get that tone now. Excuse me.
All right. Well, I can keep talking while he's doing that.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead.
So I came here in 2006, actually to pursue a basketball career, right? So up until that point, I always felt like I was an outsider, right? Because my name had a Spanish name in Tennessee. Nobody else had a Spanish name. I always used to, people would say, "What's your name?" And I would always start with pronouncing it. Spelling it, right? What's your name? I'd be like Armando. I would never pronounce it because I knew they couldn't write it down or couldn't spell it. So I would always start like that. So one of the biggest things that made me feel a connection to this island is that when I first got here the first day, I get to the airport and they said, "What's your name?" I said, "Armando Pantoja," and they just wrote it right down because they knew how to spell it immediately, right? So
I messed up when I messed up your name.
No, you didn't mess it up. But I'm just saying is that all of a sudden you feel like you're not an outsider no more. You feel like it's somewhere you can be where your name's not weird, or your culture's not different, right? So that just made me have a very, very close connection to this island. And over the years, I've been working, educating people and I want to come back and just make a big impact. That's one reason why I'm here. That's one reason why I'm glad you invited me to Crypto Monday.
Oh, thanks, man. We always get excited about new things that are coming to the island and people who want to just generally come and help the locals and just be a blessing to the people around you. And I always say we got some of the greatest minds in the space here in the local San Juan area and on the island, because on the west side also. So we should be able to do some really cool things here. You know what I mean? Let's talk a little bit about the Metaverse. I know you're excited about the Metaverse. I know a lot of people here came to hear you speak about the Metaverse, and let's see what we could find out tonight from you.
All right, thank you. So I want to talk about, it's probably people in this room right now, and I want to get a show of hands. How many people don't believe in the Metaverse concept at all? Just be honest. Who thinks it won't work? I'm sure it's more people than that. It's got to be some skeptics here, right? There's a lot of skeptics, especially in the Bitcoin community, that believe that the Metaverse is like some kind of fairy tale, right? And to be honest, if you look at it, it really doesn't make a lot of sense. Think about it, right? So I'm going to put on this headset and go into this cartoon world and interact. I'm 40 years old. To me, it seems like you're not going to work, right? I was like, man, this can't work. It's impossible. There's no way that this is going to work. Who's going to put on a headset and go work in the Metaverse when they could just, do it on Zoom? Who's going to go on the Metaverse and interact and hang out when they could just go to a bar or a club or at a local church or whatever? It doesn't even make sense. And I'm racking my brain. I'm like, does this even make sense? There's no way nobody's going to be able to do this. But I look at my children, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're playing Roblox. They're playing Minecraft. And it hits me, and I'm like, well, it don't have to make sense to me because they're the ones that's going to inherit the world. They're the ones who are growing up in this. They're the ones who are going to work and live and grow in the metaverse. It's not going to be me. If we go back to cell phones, when cell phones first became popular in the late 70s, early 80s, the 40-year-olds back then probably said this would never work.
And today we got computers in our hand.
So they weren't the ones that were going to inherit that technology. It was going to be their children who ended up using it, the people who are sitting around right now who ended up using that technology. So a lot of times we have to be able to see the future, what's coming, put ourselves 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years into the future, place ourselves in that world and understand what that's going to be like. Then we can understand, what the technology is going to dominate that world.
I'll throw my wife under the bus. She's pretty skeptical, and I love going back to the movie Ready Player One because if you've seen the movie, if you haven't, it's pretty cool to see exactly what our future's probably going to look like. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's crazy to even think about. What are you doing right now to self into the metaverse?
So right now I'm doing a lot of education. Awareness is one thing that I'm really working on. That's the reason why I'm here, because I want people to understand that this is a great opportunity. This is like I said, there's been 3 big opportunities since, I guess my mother has been alive, I should say. It's been television, it's been the internet, and it's been the metaverse. And all 3 of those things, people didn't believe they were going to do anything. When Televisionverse came out, people said it's never going to work. Nobody's going to watch that. We got the radio. What do we need TV for? TV ended up taking over. Then when the internet came out, there's actually I forget the CEO that said it, but it was a major CEO that said the internet would never replace fax machines ever. And I forgot who said that. It was like a big major CEO. I forget who his name was, but now the internet right now we're all connected right now, right? So a lot of times technology can be so fundamentally changing that people can't even see how it could actually be successful. And I strongly believe that the metaverse is one of these concepts.
I know you got a book coming out.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way. What's the name of the book? Any idea yet?
We don't have a name yet. So.
All right, I know it's coming out. I seen your stuff. Do you see yourself making an NFT and putting it on the metaverse and things to that nature like that?
Yeah, eventually I do want to work with that. But because I think that the NFT, the concept of NFT works, I think it works best in the metaverse. And I'm going to tell you why, right? Is that how many people have ever heard of Second Life? There's got to be some techies in here that know about Second Life, right? We got like 20 people. Well, a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, some tech people. I was a software engineer, so I was in Second Life back in 2007 and 8. Well, Second Life was a early version of the metaverse, and it existed from like around 2006 to 2010. And people would go in there and they lived their lives, and they would conduct transactions. They would build houses. They would buy real estate. They would flip real estate. There was real estate agents. There was different lawyers and different people that did certain things. Right? There were people that created clothing lines and shoe lines and cars and stuff. But one of the biggest problems in that environment, one reason why it failed is that once I created a digital item, a wearable or a car or anything like that, people were just duplicating your code and just, so there was really no reason for there was no incentive really to like create like a shirt or create a car, because all somebody had to do is come along and copy it 1,000 times and your value will be lost. And there's a documentary on Netflix that I encourage. Netflix doesn't work. Does it work down here?
Yeah.
Okay, because some of my friends tell me you can't watch all the movies. Or is that YouTube? It may be YouTube. YouTube movies.
YouTube works over here too.
But the movies, I don't think you can like watch all the movies.
Not sure.
Okay, so there's a documentary, and I encourage a lot of you guys to read it. Watch it. It's called Life 2.0, and it's on Netflix. And it's a documentary. It's about 10, 12 years old, and it talks about the struggles of these people who were living and working and conducting transactions, conducting their life in this virtual world that existed about 12 years ago. So the NFT concept is going to fix one of the major problems people had back in 12 years ago on making digital items and making a living, working in the metaverse, because they're able to claim ownership of certain digital items and able to profit from it going forward.
Okay, and our next question would be, why do you believe crypto is the key to the metaverse?
All right, so I believe that crypto, let's talk. Let me go back to how I discovered Bitcoin, right? Then I'm going to go on that. I was actually very, very early into Bitcoin. I started buying Bitcoin in 2011, which was like right after.
Nice.
The reason I actually got one of my friends here into it at Ethereum in 2015. So he's here right now. So. The way I got into it, I was in grad school at University of South Florida, and I was studying cryptology. And cryptology, of course, cryptocurrency is based in cryptology. So I just heard people talking about it, and I just got into it early. It was almost like a stroke of like luck, right? But I tell people this story sometimes is that the first time I bought some Bitcoin, I bought $500 worth, and I got like 6 Bitcoins. It was like a ridiculous number for $500, right? So it was only like 2 or 3 forums that you could talk about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin.org was there, but it was like 2 others, right? So I'm in this forum. And I'm in college, grad school. I'm struggling, eating ramen noodles and stuff like that. And so this guy in there comes in. He's like, "Hey man, I could take that $500 and I'll run it through some program and give you 1,000 back the next day." So I was desperate, so I sent it to him. Right? You know what happened to that money?
It's gone.
I never got it back. Right? So, but that made me learn about the blockchain. That made me learn that made me. Take the effort to learn how the blockchain works, to learn how transactions work, do my research, and actually dive in deeper to it to make sure it wouldn't happen again. So, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So this is, with the Metaverse, the key to, crypto is the key to the Metaverse because of the ability to make quick transactions and the NFT concept, right? Is that the reason why it's the key is because to be honest, Bitcoin and crypto in general, certain cryptos do, but let's just say Bitcoin. Bitcoin really doesn't have a 100% clear use case right now. Fiat currency, even though I know some of y'all don't like it, it has, at least we know that this dollar we can use, everybody agrees that we can buy stuff with this dollar, right? Bitcoin, some people would say it's a store of value. Some people say it's a currency. There's a split in the market, right? People don't really know. We haven't came to a complete agreement on what Bitcoin's is used for, what it's gonna be used for. Is it an investment? Is it currency? Is it a?
I'll take it for payment.
Exactly. Some people, but with the Metaverse, I believe could be a clear, undeniable use case for Bitcoin to conduct transactions, all of crypto really, to be able to conduct transactions within this space. The only thing that works efficiently, effectively, and cheaply is cryptocurrency.
Nice. What do you see in the next, let's say, year? Where would you see the Metaverse being at? Like, how far along is it coming? Because it comes quick. It comes quick.
I mean, to be honest, I think we're about 5 or 10 years from the full potential of the Metaverse. And I'll tell you, there's 3 things that I think has to happen in order for the Metaverse to actually, integrate into our lives completely. And one is that, and it's going to scare some people, I'm going to go ahead and say it, it's direct machine-to-brain connection. With things, it has to happen. And I know it's scary, but like I said, if we go back to the 80s and the 90s, and if you would have told people that lived in that time, we're going to put a device in your house that's going to listen to everything you say, and it's going to report back to a company, and it's going to give you ads based on it. Everybody would have said that was scary. It was nobody. If you told anybody that back in the 80s and 90s, they would have agreed that that's completely scary, right? And now we accept it, right? So if we told them we had a device that was going to know our location everywhere we go, people would have agreed that that was scary 20 years ago, but we accept it now. So the machine-to-brain connections, it has to happen, because I don't believe that people are going to actually live in the Metaverse, work in the Metaverse with a clunky headset on. It has to be almost, your 5 senses have to be in that environment. The second thing is that the graphics have to get better, because right now the graphics are just too cartoony. But once we get photorealistic graphics, the processors get better. NVIDIA is working on a lot of things that's going to make the processes faster, better, more efficient. And we're going to have photorealistic graphics. That means graphics that we see right now, it's going to look realistic. So those 2 things have to happen before I believe that Metaverse concept can reach its full potential.
I think it's pretty cool. My brother always tells me, he's dealing with people who are literally building our future, and I guess you could say, the people in the crypto space and the crypto industry are building the future of the world. What part of that do you have?
So right now, like I said, is I'm working on a lot of education about the metaverse. I'm trying to get involved in some projects. So that's where I'm at right now, is just the education side of things, just making sure people are aware of what the potential is. I'm also investing in real estate in the metaverse right now, Decentraland.
No.
Yeah. So I'm investing a lot into that because I think that with enough time, that's going to be very valuable, right? So once these things happen, like the direct machine to connection, graphics get better. If it's just like any other any other real estate, right? Is that you go into a bad neighborhood, and it may be bad, may not have the things that you need to function and live in this neighborhood, but you have to be able to see what's coming. And if you're able to see what's coming, you can get the land cheap. And then once all those things happen, like the Walmart gets built, the LA Fitness gets built, and these things, the value of the land goes up.
I hear they got gas stations already.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear about that, but
That's crazy.
yeah.
So, if you had to build one thing in the metaverse, what would it be?
If I had to build one thing, it would be something probably related to education, a university or something like that. Because I think that's one of the potentials also, is because I think education could be a strong, a use for the metaverse, right? Because people can get together in a classroom, you could conduct experiments, you could do a lot of things in the metaverse that maybe some people don't have access to. Like in rural places, like you don't have access to like science equipment and things like that. So I think the metaverse has the potential to bring a lot of people together that normally wouldn't be able to do things like that.
It's just like the cryptocurrency with the banking system. I mean,
Yeah.
It got so much to offer humanity as a whole.
I think so, yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you want to go over before we go into some questions and answers?
Yeah, we can go into questions. I'd like to answer some questions.
Awesome. George, Nadia, you want to help us out with the mic? Anybody got any questions for George? For Armando, sorry.
Okay, I know many people here really want to buy some real estate in Metaverse. How do you value it? How do I identify good plots? So first of all, which projects? And second, how do I identify good plots in various projects? Because I know there are different approaches.
Most of the rules of regular real estate apply. There's good neighborhoods, bad neighborhoods. There's neighborhoods that have a proximity to certain things that are already valuable. So there's a lot of, so if, like for example, if that like Snoop Dogg or whatever owns a plot of land, the land around it becomes more valuable because that land that he owns is Snoop Dogg's land, right? So it's the same laws, or like a popular space, right? If it's a popular space in the metaverse, that land around it becomes more valuable. So it's almost the same laws that that govern the real estate market. It's the same laws that govern the digital real estate market.
So there's going to be a hood.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe.
Next question.
Hey, I just wanted to clarify. So the people walk in Metaverse, right?
Speak into the mic. I didn't.
Speaking into the mic, does it work?
No, speak
So-
into the mic so we can hear
Into
you.
the mic. Check. Okay, so people walk around the metaverse, but people also teleport, right, using links.
Yes.
And for like most people teleport, most people don't walk.
Yeah, they don't walk.
So for teleporting stuff, how do you buy plots?
I didn't hear.
How do you buy land in case most people will teleport? Like it doesn't matter then, right?
It still does matter because people will still congregate in certain places. Like just because they're teleporting, they have to congregate in certain places. So,
Can you tell us more about congregating? And they'll give the mic to this man.
okay. So, like for example, let's say if I was gonna like do an event like this in the metaverse, right? And I was doing it at a popular place like a club or a bar or something that existed in the metaverse. So people would come, like everybody would have to be here in order to see it, right? So we would all be here. So this is a congregation point. So if this was a popular point, the places around it would be more valuable.
Next question.
Okay, so my understanding is there's Sandbox, Decentraland, Mana, and all these different things. But are these separate worlds that you have to teleport from, or they're all connected?
They're not connected right now, but that's a good point because I'll tell you about people that understand that know the history of technology. Like let's say for example we go back to like VHS, and Betamax, right? A lot of times technology starts out as segmented. So you'll have completely different universes, right? Like Betamax, VHS, or back when DVD and Laserdisc, or even with cell phone providers, if you go back to the early 2000s, I mean, you could only text people that were in your network. I don't know how many of you guys remember that. So if you had like Verizon, you could only text people in Verizon. Or if you had like Sprint, you can only text people in Sprint. So a lot of times technology will start out as segmented like that. And then eventually with enough time, the companies will realize that, hey man, we can just all put our money into one set of standards and we all will exist in the same space.
Is there something that's going to be one-to-one from reality to the metaverse, so to speak, like a mirror?
They have some projects like that where they have like, it's a one-to-one match.
Right.
Like New York exists in the metaverse.
Right.
Or like, you know, maybe San Francisco, like down to the addresses.
Because I'm building a real farm with real coconut trees.
Yeah.
And I want to mirror it, but I want to have a concert on the farm here in Puerto Rico, but those who can't make it, I want to mirror it so they can attend the concert in the verse, in the cocoa verse.
Make
so
sure
to
you're
speak.
selling the coconuts too, Vinny.
That's right. That's right. So I just want to understand how to integrate this in some way, but it's early. It sounds early.
Yeah, it's very early.
Next question in the back.
Good evening. How's it going, guys? Whoa, a little bit too close. I have a question. I've been learning about the metaverse recently, the past couple of months, and it seems that it's in the early stages. So the space is vast. So, for example, if someone is a real estate agent, you have a responsibility to a certain market, right? To
Yes.
get listings, to be part of that community. But it seems that with the metaverse, the whole world can be, your cash cow pretty much on this. So is there a structure right now when it comes to real estate and the metaverse? For example, if I'm in Puerto Rico and then I hear something in Japan and maybe I can, teleport to Japan and capitalize on that. Is there something that is a structure right now or is it too early for that?
You mean like the real estate structure we have now in the real world?
Exactly.
Like license and stuff like that?
Not the license, but pretty much, again, if you're a real estate agent, you're part of a market. Let's say I live in Puerto Rico and I have a Florida license, but I live here. It's really hard for me. I will have to be traveling to go in Florida to be responsible and know what's happening on that market so I can get listings and get clients. And because this is a mirror, right, in the metaverse, is there structure enough that I could be, let's say I'm a real estate agent, I could then, okay, today I'm going to Japan. Today I'm gonna be going to Spain. Today I'm gonna be going to Puerto Rico and have a responsibility to those communities in the metaverse, and I can have a control on that. Is that structure enough right now today?
I don't think that structure exists, but there are structured markets in land in the metaverse, right? Each separate metaverse has its own marketplace. And just like in the real world, we have comp values, right? So if this house is worth this much because this house sold for a certain price, yesterday, right? So it's the same thing in the metaverse. Is one plot of land that's like adjacent sells for a certain price, the next the values also go up. But I don't know if the real estate, like you say, as the real estate market is mature enough to have that kind of structure yet. But there are real estate agents in the metaverse that actually do put buyers and sellers together.
Nice. Next question.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Back here. So this term metaverse, it's exploded into the public lexicon, and as an mostly casual observer of it, it doesn't seem very clear to me what are the bright lines between what is metaverse and what isn't. I mean, what are the yardsticks that we can use to say this is a metaverse project versus being just a glorified virtual reality thing or being a glorified video call? Help me to understand the contours of that.
Okay, so you're 100% right about that. The metaverse, the concept of the metaverse, that word is not, first of all, it's not a new word. It's been out like 30 years. It came out in 1992. There was a book called Snow Crash, and it talked about the metaverse as being an interactive world where people work, play, and live using a virtual reality headset. So that's the definition of the metaverse, right? But it's not a new concept. It's been out for a long time. The word's been out a long time. But back to your question, is that that's the line between, like you said, real life and what the metaverse is let me see. It's just that's a hard question, man. I'm trying to figure it out, but it's basically like it's just the term that people are using now to describe these new worlds. Like I said, there was a world before called Second Life, and that was like Roblox, right? I don't know if you know about Roblox. Technically, Roblox is a metaverse. It was a metaverse project when it was created in 2005. By the definition we use today, so it's any 3D world where people live, work, and act. Live, work, and play using virtual reality or augmented reality headsets.
I want to ride my Harley.
Yeah, you could.
All right, one final question.
Hi, everybody. I have a question. Can I throw you a double question? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Using IBM quantum cloud services and artificial intelligence, DeepMind, Google's works. What do you think about using that in what you're doing now to help you with artificial intelligence, doing most of the work? First part. Second part, who do you think is going to be coming ahead? Google, Microsoft, Epic Games, or Meta?
Okay, so you're talking about using artificial intelligence to do what in the metaverse?
To help, my question is directly to you with what you're doing. What do you think about IBM Quantum Cloud Services and Google's DeepMind artificial intelligence services in helping you? What's your viewpoint on that?
I'm a little confused. To help me with what is it?
Okay.
You got me confused.
I can elaborate if you want. Using those two services that are
Yes.
available right now
Yes.
to help you with what you're doing. What if you're familiar with IBM Quantum Cloud
I'm
Services?
familiar with those two. But okay, so
Yeah.
what you're talking about is you're talking about the cloud services with Microsoft and the AI services, which are artificial intelligence. But I don't know how it would aid I guess it could aid in graphics generation in the metaverse, but I don't know, how they would be. I mean, I'm sure it can be implemented, but I don't know how, like the question you're asking. So let me try to think. But one thing about AI, and I'll tell you this right now, is that AI will eventually replace a lot of the work. This is another reason why the metaverse is going to be a strong concept, because those projects you're talking about, AI, the 2 AI projects, AI will eventually replace a lot of the jobs that we do with enough time. So eventually, there's going to be something called general AI that comes out, right? And that means general intelligence, like we all have. And that intelligence will eventually replace most jobs that we do, right? So at that point, and it's been a theory for like 50 years, that eventually artificial intelligence will replace a lot of the jobs we do right now, right? And when that happens, humanity will be all of a sudden with a lot of leisure time. And there's a lot of people out there that say that the metaverse concept will fit right into that. And now, since we have so much leisure time because we don't have to, balance our checkbooks, things like that, all the busy work we do, accountants, lawyers, AI will take over all of those jobs, and the average human will have a lot of leisure time. So we'll have to have something to take up our time, and I can see that the metaverse could fit right into that.
Meet George Jetson.
Hey, Armando. Ramesh here. So there's a race that's going on between these big companies getting into metaverse, right? All the big companies we just talked about, and then we have all these community-driven projects, all these ones like Decentraland. And so there's a race going on. So who do you think would eventually win?
To be honest, I don't think Facebook will. I don't think they'll eventually win. I think that it'll be probably, I think Microsoft has the computing power. I think that even Amazon Web Services, I think if they ever got into it, I think they could actually do some damage with the metaverse. But if you ask me who I think would win, who I think would be the biggest winner of anything, I think NVIDIA is going to be the biggest winner.
Convenience?
NVIDIA, because they create the graphic cards that you have to use to generate the 3D worlds. I think NVIDIA and the GPU, the people who create the graphic processing units, I think that they're going to be the ones who have that I guess take the lion's share of all the revenue that comes from the metaverse eventually. I think it's like the concept of like the gold rush, right? In 1849 is that the people who made the money wasn't the people who were looking for the gold, it's the people who were selling the shovels. So those type of companies, like NVIDIA, like Unity is another one. They create the software. There's game engines that are already out there. The Real Engine? Those I think are going to be the biggest winners out of all of this eventually.
You know, we started with talking about, you know, just the gaming industry. As you know, I used to yell at my kid, you know, put down the damn game, go outside, pick up a ball. And now it's the other way around. Now you want your kid to learn about gaming and play to earn games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's. Do you have any children?
Yeah, I do. I have 2 kids.
Do you encourage them to
to
learn?
Yeah, I encourage them now. I want them to get into this and understand what it is. So I teach my kids coding a lot. So we sit down, especially with Roblox, because Roblox has a coding engine there, and I teach them how to do. They call them hobbies. So it shows them how to like create like little
How old are your kids?
hobbies. It's 9 and 6.
9 and 6. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. We're doing some stuff with the Boys and Girls Club out here that we're trying to help out. We're here today. Romy, is he around? I got something real interesting for you guys to listen up. Help me thank our speaker, Armando. Come on, guys. And Nadia for helping out with the questions. Can I get the mic? Can we get Nadia a round of applause? Over to Romy. Romy's got something pretty interesting, guys, real quick, that I was listening to, and I thought it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks, Isaac. Hi, everybody. I'm from MobileCoin. We happen to be in town this week, and the coincidence is we're officially launching our partnership with Signal Messaging. Has anybody here used the Signal app? Okay, great. Signal app. And if you don't use the Signal app, what messaging app would you use if you wanted to keep the messages that you were sending private? Yep, there's a lot of options. Signal is pretty widely known as one of the best. And we have integrated the MobileCoin wallet embedded into the Signal messaging app. And I just wanted to share what we were doing. Essentially, we were creating a platform for digital cash, and Signal, the company, and MobileCoin, the company, are working to fight to protect our rights to have privacy for what's in our wallet, for the people we pay, and what we do financially. And that's it. I just wanted to share. I'll be over here to answer any questions, and also distributing some MobileCoin for everybody who wants to load up their wallets.
Nice.
All right.
Free money. Thank you. Guys, help me thank our speaker one more time, Armando. Thank you for coming out, guys. You know, Limitless Dubai, March 18th. If you guys are in that side of the world, I'm not sure if you missed the one over here, Blockchain Week, but it was sure a lot of knowledge that was shared that day. March 18th in Dubai, Limitless again. Come out and share your support. Thank you for sharing your support here with the community. I mean, let's impact the island. Let's do something amazing, and that's it. Let's network.